Okay, today we're going to show you guys how to make about 3 liters of hard apple cider. To do this, all you need to do is buy one of these jugs. You can see here it's 3.7 liters, or 3.8 liters. You're going to need 1.5 cups of sugar. You'll need a airlock and some sanitizer to make sure everything's clean. It's this guy here, Star San. Okay, let's get started. So, step one, take this and give it a mark right about here. You need this much room for it to ferment later. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open this up. And we're going to pour out approximately that much. We have poured off this much excess orange juice, that apple juice. You can just go ahead and drink it. You keep it for later, whatever. You don't need it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pour off anywhere from half a liter to 1 liter, and that is to dissolve the sugar in. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour off some of this into a nice sanitized container. And there it is there. What we can do is move this out of the way. And I don't know, it's between half a liter and 1 liter. The next thing we need is 1.5 cups of sugar. So there is 1.5 cups of sugar. Okay, so we got a spoon, but before we use it, we want to sanitize it in our Star San. And let's make sure it's good and sanitized. Okay, it looks like all of the sugar has dissolved. So, next thing we can do is we're just going to pour that back into the container. What we're doing is we're just adding more sugar to the apples so we can create a higher alcohol content. When you use this and you check your gravity, you want to be around 1060 to 1070. This is probably going to be around 1065, which is perfect. It'll ferment out to about 8%, between 8 and 9% alcohol. There we go, so it's all back in there. Next thing you can do is you can put the lid on here and you just give that a good shake to make sure it's all stirred up nicely. There we go. Now you can shake that as much as you want, just make sure it's good and the sugar is dissolved and everything's ready to go. The next step is you want to get your yeast. This is the best yeast to use for this. It's a champagne yeast. Okay. This yeast does need to be activated. All you need is just a little bit of warm water. You put the yeast in, stir it, and let it sit for a couple minutes. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to get some warm water, and this guy is sterilized, but I can sterilize it again to make sure. Just pour a little bit of Star San in there, give it a swirl around, dump it out, and then put some clean water in it. Okay, we've got the yeast, we've got a little bit of warm water, and all you're going to do is open that up. Dump the yeast in there. Now you could use only half this yeast because this is enough yeast for, I think, probably around 20 gallons, and this is only 1 gallon. So you don't need to use all of that yeast at all. But I'm going to split it between a couple different batches. And you just kind of stir this up a little bit. And you let it sit for about 5 minutes and it'll be active, ready to go. Now the last step that we want is we need to take our airlock. Here's a brand new airlock that we bought. And what we need to do is we're going to drill a hole in this cap just about the size of the small end of this bong so it'll compress in there. And meanwhile, we'll toss the bong in the sanitizer We'll also put this new airlock. Take it apart, pop the lid off, toss it in the sanitizer, toss it all in there. Yeah, we'll let that soak in the sanitizer for a bit. And while we drill this hole, you can drill the hole second. What you could do is, now that this yeast is active, we'll put the yeast in here, use the lid, shake it all up. So this yeast is active. I mean, you can let it sit for 5 minutes, but it'll work anyways. So let's dump that in there. Some yeast in there. Put the lid on it. Shake that up really good. And now we just gotta go drill this cap so we can put the airlock on. We've got the cap drilled, got the bong put in. We've already stirred up the yeast and everything and get it all stirred up. Put the cap on there. So you get your you're gonna get your here and just fill it up to the level it says with star sand. That's about there is good. That in, top piece on, put your cap on. Now try to keep this around room temperature for about the next 10 days. You'll see it ferment off, and you take another gravity reading. When the gravity hits close to 1.0, it's fermented out and you're ready to go. Then you can just add some sugar and back sweeten if you want, or add carbonation to it. Anyways, we'll have that in the next video. Thanks.